Yeah, modification of debt. So that's a topic which we tend to ignore generally, but it might get asked in the paper. I'm not saying I'm predicting it, but just a thought came to my mind and I thought, let's share it with you. You might get a question on that because it's been a long time they've not asked that. And it is a recent addition. So modification of debt. Okay. Are you guys clear on this? So that basically ends our sessions, the series of sessions of live classes. And now let me discuss what would be your strategy going forward. How many days are your left days for the exam? How many days are left for your exam? 13 days? Okay. 3 days, 3 days I'm going to keep for my concept. Till today, you guys were enjoying your life, maybe in tension, anxiety, and just, joining in the session. You are clueless. If you really trust me and if you want to pass this paper and you understand that what I would say is in your benefit, you would imply or you would apply that, advice in your preparation. But if you are someone who believes that, okay, I am doing what I'm doing is correct, that is also good. Maybe I'm giving a generic advice that might not be applicable to you. So you can avoid my advice. Okay. So it's just if you are clueless, you should implement this advice. Now, first of all, 3 days before your paper, you will just stick to the syllabus. You will not do any question. You will not look at the pre-mock. You will not look at any mock. You will not write any mock. Agreed? Do we all agree to it? Will we not do it? No practice, nothing. Stop the practice 3 days before the paper. So that means, ma'am, we just have 10 days. Now, if you want the logic, I always give you the logic for everything. So I'm giving you the logic for this as well. Okay. So the basic logic is, in practice, our confidence is shattered, right? Agreed? Because whenever we are doing questions right now, you are seeing something which is new. I always say learn from the question, but don't learn from the question 3 days before the paper. That will shatter your confidence. And I don't want that to happen. Because on the day of the exam, what are the most important things? Technical knowledge is secondary. Most important thing is common sense. Common sense. You call it commercial sense, you call it accounting sense. When you're passing journal entries, when you're writing general theory points, common sense. And common sense, you all have it, okay? You all have come till here, this far. You're joining this session. All 60, 56 people sitting here, you all have common sense, okay? It's just that it gets diluted when you are in a time pressure or you are like blanked because you are nervous or you are anxious. So first thing that I need in my exam on that day is common sense. I have to protect that common sense. And for that protection, I need to boost my confidence. So that I can be witty and smart in the paper, I have to be confident. So when I'm not confident and I'm going for public speaking, I would just say, hi, my name is Potato. But when I am confident, I would say what I want to say. Same happens with you in the exam. If you're not confident, you're like, oh my God, examiner is going to take over me. What a paper. Everyone is, looking here and there. And then you see what my colleague is doing, what my friend is doing. They're also looking at your face and we are all blank. That's when you lose the paper. Then you say bye-bye to it. Next attempt. You're not supposed to do that. You have to keep your common sense alive. To protect that, boost your confidence. How to boost your confidence? 3 days before the paper, do not do practice. Second way of boosting your confidence. Now, these sessions, you don't know it right now. When you will sit in the exam, you will understand. If you would hear the voice, my voice at back of your mind, you would understand that even if during the session I was getting bored and during the session I was feeling like, oh, I don't know this, or my confidence was getting shattered, or I was feeling like this is very difficult. These sessions will help you in your exam. That's sure shot. Any recording that you have attempted, any quick question debrief videos that you've seen, the Super 20 debrief sessions that you've attended, these will help you to increase your confidence and help you in the areas where you will feel lost. So before conceptual framework, I will come to help you. Just listen to your brain, okay? Now, another thing to boost your confidence is self-practice. Again, emphasizing on it. This is something you guys have, no, Navya, let's not come to conclusions. Till this date, you have seen the videos. You've attended the sessions. Now, in the last 10 days, you have to do enormous self-practice. You guys have drived the support cycle in the childhood. Yes, we all have drove that support cycle, three-wheelers. Yeah, kiddos in kindergarten. And then gradually we used to leave those two supports and drive it on two wheels. So till date, you are having a support. I was helping you solve the case studies. I will helping you sail through the case studies. Now you have to try to move without a support. Okay? You have to leave the support. If you're taking support from my lectures or any other lectures or any exam kit, when you're doing a question, you're referring to answers, that's a support. You're referring to Google, that's a support. You go to that accountancy website and see the answers, that's a support, right? So you are not supposed to take any support because anyway, nobody is validating you. When you're doing self-practice, nobody is going to validate you. That's just for yourself. Now, ma'am, how should I do the self-practice? I will give you an optimum way of self-practice. If you are a full-time student, during the time of your exam, let's suppose I was talking to a few people on call. Let's suppose most of them said that, ma'am, my exam is at 9 a.m. You will sit from 9 to 12 and pick up random 4 questions, either 4 questions or a past paper on the CBE platform. I'm not giving you any list of questions, do this, do that. No, any random. You have to pick up past papers, any random past papers. Every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., you will solve them, okay? You will give yourself 2 hours bracket to review your answers. Now that is self-assessment. When I am checking your mocks, these days they just checks the mocks. But when I used to check the mocks, it was my understanding that was increasing. I miss checking the mocks, okay? I might randomly check few mocks if I get the time because of the mock debriefs. But when we check the mocks, what happens is we get to know what mistakes you guys do, right? Imagine I am a tutor and with this learning, I have come this far in SBR and my knowledge has increased in SBR because I was able to see the mistakes of students. Imagine you are getting that knowledge with yourself. You're your own experiment. You are doing that question paper and you're reviewing yourself. That is so powerful. You are doing your self-assessment. You're getting to know where you go wrong. So why do you undermine the power of checking your questions yourself? You have to do that paper for 3 hours, okay? And for 2 hours, you have to see the answers, review your paper. I would suggest write the paper if possible. If you have a printer nearby, get it printed. If others, don't have that facility, it's okay. Don't waste your time. Do it on your laptop only. Okay? So just keep your mobile phones away when you're doing the paper. Keep your texts away when you're doing the paper. Keep your any exam kit, Google, ChatGPT, portal recordings, everything away. Do it honestly. Just do it for 5 days. I'm not saying for 10 days whole, 5 days. So you can keep it on alternate also. Tomorrow you can do this. Day after you can take a break. Then again you can do this. 5 days, 5 papers, random. We have done few papers in the class, but still there are few papers which are left. And in those few papers, you might find some question that you've already done in the Kaplan kit, but that's okay. Repeat them. Do it yourself. The major reason of doing these papers is learning time management, number one, boosting our confidence, and learning from our mistakes. So we've come this far by just learning from the questions. Now let's practice the application of our learning. Whatever we have learned from every question, are we able to actually practice it and apply it? The first paper that you would solve will be a shocker to you. The first mock that you give will be a shocker to you. Do you want to get the first shock with my mock, which is validated? Or do you want to get the first shock with a mock that is not validated? Of course, something that you are doing by yourself, so that you get your reality check. You get your shocker first, and then when you come to your maximum capacity, you give my mock. Okay? So take your first shock tomorrow itself. Don't wait for my mock. Take your first shock tomorrow by yourself. Any random past paper. 3 hours. Sit for it. You would not be able to meet the time. Okay? That's for sure. You will not be able to figure out. The words will fall short. That will surely happen. But you have to combat this problem. And this problem can only be combated once you face the fear again and again. So issue is with time management. Why time management problem happens? Because we have mental fatigue. When we are doing a 30 marker, we are like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't want to do any other question now. That is, our stamina of typing and understanding and reading is low. We have to develop that stamina also, no? So that's what I would suggest for people who are full-time students or who have 5 days leave. Do this practice for sure. Now, people who are having jobs, if you can take out 3 hours at a stretch in a day, you must also do this practice. Maybe the timing can be different, but I want you to give the past papers at 3 hours at a stretch. Your ultimate planner is not done, forget about it. Your anything is not done, forget about it. You've done Super 20, good. Move to this practice. Ultimate planner is a plan of solving the whole exam kit. Now, if you were not done with the whole exam kit, 5 past papers would mean 4 questions each. 5 into 4 is 20. 20 you've done with me, 20 you do yourself, 40 are enough to pass. Okay, 20 you did in recordings, in live classes, with support, 20 you do by yourself, more than enough to pass. Okay, we have a lot of people, and I myself, I've done like just 10 questions and still passed. You're doing 40, 20 in like exhaustive recordings and lectures, and 20 typing them out. Surely you'll pass. So don't ask me that question, ma'am. Can we just do 20 questions and pass? 40 questions. 20 in the Super 20 classes, 20 by yourself by past papers. So the job students, you also have to do this practice, but you can do it in breaks. That's what you can do. Now, if you have some other plans, like you're following some other, plans in your head, you have your own strategy, that's your choice. That's my recommendation to you. So if you want to abide by this recommendation, you can. Now, never enter into your day unplanned. I'm sure this has happened with you. Like, if I don't plan my day before I sleep, next day I will wake up late, number one. Number two, I'll always figure out what to study. And I'll keep on finding my resources. Okay, I'll study this today, that today. And then the time is wasted. Because the time is wasted, we have guilt because the clock is ticking. Only 10 days are left. And then we're like, oh my God, I'll fail. So that fear kicks in, panic kicks in, and then you waste your whole day. And your confidence also slashes down. So if that is happening with you, every day before you sleep, you know that 9 a.m. I'm solving my past paper, or whenever your exam is. If let's suppose it is at 1 p.m., you'll do it at 1 p.m. You'll always pre-decide, this is the past paper I'm going to solve the next day. So before I sleep, I'm going to make my planner. Can we do that every day? We make a to-do list. So I've given you a practice of 5 hours every day. 3 hours of past paper, 2 hours of reviewing it. Now, since 3 hours you've written a paper, those 2 hours can be decreased. I'm giving it at a leverage, okay? So 5 hours, if you're doing this plus 1 hour maybe here and there you're giving for concepts. That's also okay. That's it. If you want to do extra, that's your choice. But 5 hours are minimum. Now 5 hours, at least now 5 hours should be there. Right? And the